Emily, a young journalist, receives an unexpected invitation to investigate the mysterious disappearances around Ashgrove Woods. She's heard rumors of the woods being cursed, but her skepticism outweighs her fear. Emily arrives in the small town of Briarwood, located near the infamous Ashgrove Woods. The locals are wary and unfriendly, warning her not to venture into the forest. Despite the warnings, Emily plans to visit the next morning. While exploring the town, Emily stumbles upon an old journal in the town's library. It belongs to a man named Edward Burke, who went missing a century ago. His last entry details a ritual in Ashgrove Woods, a ritual to summon something ancient and dark. Ignoring the growing sense of unease, Emily enters Ashgrove Woods. The air is heavy with a strange energy, and she hears whispers that seem to follow her. She finds strange symbols carved into trees and stones, but as the sun sets, she feels a presence watching her. On her way back to town, Emily feels a hand brush her shoulder. She turns, but no one is there. As she hurries out of the woods, she glimpses a shadowy figure lurking between the trees, but it vanishes before she can react. Emily meets with the town historian, who tells her about the legend of Ashgrove Woods. A century ago, a group of townspeople disappeared after performing an ancient ritual. Since then, strange things have happened in the woods, and anyone who enters at night is never seen again. Late that night, Emily begins to hear voices in her room at the inn, faint, ghostly whispers calling her name. When she looks out her window, she sees shadowy figures standing just beyond the tree line of the woods. The journal Emily found earlier mysteriously appears on her bedside table, even though she left it in the library. A new entry appears, written in shaky handwriting. "I am still here. Help me." Emily returns to Ashgrove Woods to investigate the site of the ritual mentioned in Edward's journal. She finds a stone altar in a hidden clearing, with the same strange symbols carved into it. Suddenly, the temperature drops, and she feels an overwhelming sense of dread. That night, Emily is plagued by vivid nightmares of the original townspeople performing the ritual. In the dream, they summon a dark, malevolent force which devours their souls. When she wakes, she realizes that the ritual is not just a legend, it's a warning. As Emily continues her investigation, she is increasingly haunted by the shadowy figure she first saw in the woods. It appears to her in reflections, in dark corners, and even in her dreams. Its presence becomes suffocating, and she feels as though it's drawing closer to her. The closer Emily gets to uncovering the truth, the more the dark forces in Ashgrove Woods awaken. She begins experiencing terrifying supernatural events. Objects move on their own, whispers follow her wherever she goes, and she starts seeing the ghosts of those lost to the woods. Edward Burke's spirit finally makes contact with Emily, warning her to leave before it's too late. He explains that the dark force in Ashgrove Woods feeds on the fear and souls of those who enter. The ritual was meant to summon it, but it was never properly contained. Emily learns that the dark force is bound to Ashgrove Woods by a curse, one that was cast by a powerful witch who once lived in the area. The only way to stop it is to break the curse, but doing so will come at a terrible price. Emily prepares to perform the ritual to break the curse, using the information she's gathered. But as she enters the woods for the final time, the dark force begins to hunt her. The shadowy figure, now fully revealed as a monstrous entity, chases her deeper into the cursed forest. Emily performs the ritual, but as the curse is broken, the dark force doesn't disappear. Instead, it attaches itself to Emily. She becomes the new vessel for the entity, bound to Ashgrove Woods for eternity. The curse is not broken. It has simply found a new victim. Years have passed since Emily's disappearance. A group of paranormal investigators arrives in Briarwood, drawn by the mysterious events surrounding Ashgrove Woods. They are eager to film a documentary on the legend, but they have no idea what really awaits them. The investigators set up their base in the old inn where Emily once stayed. Strange occurrences begin almost immediately. Equipment malfunctions, ghostly figures appear in their footage, and one member claims to have heard Emily's voice calling for help. Ignoring the warnings of the townspeople, the team ventures into Ashgrove Woods. They find remnants of the ritual site, but are unaware of the dark force that still lurks there. As night falls, they realize they are not alone. One of the investigators, James, is separated from the group and attacked by the shadowy entity. He survives but is left with strange markings on his skin. The team grows fearful but decides to stay, convinced that they are on the verge of uncovering the truth. The team discovers Emily's journal, left behind in the inn. Her final entries reveal her fate, and they realize that the curse of Ashgrove Woods is still very much alive. Worse, they begin to suspect that one of them is already marked by the entity. The ghost of Emily appears to the investigators, warning them to leave. She is a tormented soul, bound to the woods, unable to rest. She reveals that the entity is using James as a vessel to grow stronger. James becomes increasingly hostile, his behavior growing erratic and violent. The team realizes that the dark force is slowly possessing him, but they don't know how to stop it. The curse is spreading, and they're running out of time. The investigators learn of the ancient witch who created the curse and the role of the keeper, a person bound to the entity to keep it contained. Emily was the last keeper, but now the role has passed to James, who is slowly being consumed by the darkness. Desperate for answers, the investigators search for the witch's mark, a powerful symbol that could help them break the curse. They discover that the witch was buried in the heart of Ashgrove Woods, and only by finding her grave can they stop the entity. As the team grows closer to finding the witch's grave, tensions rise. One of the investigators, Sarah, reveals that she has been in contact with the dark force and plans to join it, believing that it will grant her immortality. With James on the brink of full possession and Sarah's betrayal, the team's unity crumbles. They venture into the deepest part of Ashgrove Woods, where the witch's grave is hidden. The entity is stronger here, and the shadows seem to come alive. At the witch's grave, the investigators perform a ritual to summon her spirit. The ancient witch appears, furious at being disturbed, and reveals that the curse was her revenge on the townspeople who betrayed her centuries ago. James, now fully consumed by the entity, attacks the group. The witch offers the remaining investigators a choice: leave and live, or stay and fight, knowing they will likely die. They choose to fight, determined to end the curse once and for all. The team battles the entity, using the witch's mark to weaken it. But it's not enough. The dark force is too powerful, and it seems all hope is lost until Emily's ghost appears, sacrificing herself to bind the entity once more. In the aftermath of the battle, the investigators realize that the curse still lingers. James is gone, but one of them must now become the new keeper. The burden falls on Anna, the youngest of the group, who reluctantly accepts her fate. As the surviving investigators leave Ashgrove Woods, they know the curse has not been broken. Anna, now the keeper, remains behind, forever bound to the darkness. The entity sleeps, but it will awaken again one day. Years after the events in Ashgrove Woods, the town of Briarwood has returned to normal until a new wave of disappearances begins. The curse is reawakening, and Anna, the current keeper, feels the darkness stirring within her. Emily's ghost returns, but this time, she's different. She's no longer a tormented soul, but a harbinger of the entity's return. She warns Anna that the entity is growing stronger and will soon break free of its bonds. A new group of paranormal investigators arrives in Briarwood, drawn by the strange events. They are unaware of the true danger, but Anna knows that the curse is beginning to spread beyond Ashgrove Woods. The entity begins to escape Ashgrove Woods, spreading its influence to the town. Shadows grow longer, and the air grows colder. People in Briarwood begin to experience terrifying supernatural events, nightmares, ghostly visions, and strange disappearances. Anna is torn between her role as keeper and her desire to free herself from the curse. She knows that the only way to truly end the curse is to destroy the entity, but doing so would require an unimaginable sacrifice. The entity's power continues to grow, and it begins to feed on the fear and despair of the townspeople. Anna tries to warn the investigators, but they are skeptical of her claims. Anna devises a plan to trap the entity once more, using the knowledge passed down from the previous keepers. But the entity has grown too strong, and it won't be easily contained this time. The paranormal investigators, now fully aware of the entity's power, join forces with Anna to stop it. They search for the witch's mark, hoping to use it to weaken the entity. Years after Anna's sacrifice, Briarwood seems to be at peace. But subtle signs begin to appear. A chill in the air, whispers in the night, and strange, unexplainable occurrences. Sarah, the new keeper, senses something wrong as the curse begins to stir again. Sarah starts experiencing vivid nightmares, in which the dark entity tries to reach her from the shadows. The entity, once bound by Anna's sacrifice, is struggling to break free. Sarah fears the ritual did not completely destroy it, and that the darkness may return stronger than before. In her dreams, Sarah encounters the spirits of those lost to the curse: Emily, James, and even Anna, all warning her of the growing danger. Each of them carries a piece of the puzzle. Determined to uncover more about the curse, Sarah delves into Briarwood's history, discovering a hidden chamber beneath the town's old church. There, she finds ancient manuscripts written by the original witch. As Sarah learns more about the final ritual, Briarwood begins to fall into chaos. People are disappearing once again, shadows move of their own accord, and a dark fog rolls in from Ashgrove Woods. Sarah gathers the remaining investigators from the previous battle, those who survived but have been haunted by the horrors they witnessed. Together, they realize that this time, they might not just be facing the entity. The manuscripts reveal the final ritual requires a sacrifice greater than Anna's. To destroy the entity, the keeper must destroy themselves completely, body and soul, erasing any trace of the darkness. The entity begins to manifest physically, bringing Ashgrove Woods to life with dark energy. The trees move like living creatures, and the shadows turn aggressive. The entity's influence extends beyond the woods. In a desperate attempt for guidance, Sarah visits the place where Anna made her sacrifice. There, she encounters Anna's spirit one last time, who reveals that while the entity can be defeated, it will take something more. Sarah uncovers the final secret. She is a descendant of the ancient witch who cursed Ashgrove Woods. Her family's bloodline has been intertwined with the curse all along. This revelation explains her role as the new keeper. The entity begins to speak to Sarah in her dreams, taunting her with visions of the future. In these visions, she sees Briarwood in ruins, the entity ruling over an empty, desolate world. The group prepares for one last stand against the entity. Armed with the witch's final manuscripts and the knowledge of Sarah's bloodline, they set out for Ashgrove Woods, where they must perform the ritual. As they enter the woods, the darkness closes in. The fog thickens, and the shadows grow more aggressive. The entity manifests as a monstrous figure, fed by centuries of fear and bloodshed. Deep within Ashgrove Woods, Sarah finds the source of the entity's power, a black, pulsating stone buried beneath the altar where the original ritual was performed centuries ago. With her companions fighting off the entity's physical form, Sarah begins the final ritual. As Sarah offers herself to the darkness, the heart of the entity cracks and shatters. The entity is finally destroyed,